Level 1. The recruit. You are standing at a perimeter gate in the freezing rain for 12 hours, staring at a sea of faces for the one that doesn't belong. You realize your greatest success is being completely ignored while acting as the final barrier for a name you are sworn to protect. But that comes later. Right now, you are 22 years old. You have $263 in your checking account and a criminal justice degree nobody asked for. You fill out Form SF-86 by hand at your mother's kitchen table. 48 pages of every address you've ever slept at. Every roommate, every debt. You are fingerprinted twice. You are polygraphed for 6 hours in a windowless room in a strip mall outside Cleveland. The chair is metal and cold under you. The examiner asks about drug use, debt, foreign contacts, 3 times each, in 3 different orders. Watching a needle you cannot see. You do not flinch. You wait 97 days for the results. You check the mailbox before school, before work, before anything. Your mother stands at the door when the acceptance letter finally comes. She cries into a dish towel, the same one she's had for a decade. She says your father would have been proud. You don't correct her. You make a vow standing in that kitchen, quiet to yourself. No one else hears it, not even the mother standing 3 feet away, drying the same dish for the 4th time. You will be the wall nobody sees. That is the whole job, though you don't know it yet. You think it will feel like the movies, sunglasses and sprinting, and a hand on a holster. It will not. You stop feeling certain about anything the moment you sign the paperwork. That uncertainty will follow you for 30 years. Level 2. The trainee. You report to Glencoe, Georgia, to the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center. 11 weeks. The heat sits at 96 degrees by 9 a.m., and the air smells like cut grass and gun oil. You run the obstacle course with a 35-pound vest and throw up behind a shed twice in 1 week. Nobody comments. Nobody looks at you twice. You learn defensive tactics until your knuckles split and scab and split again. You learn to shoot a Sig Sauer P229 until your ears ring even with plugs in. 400 rounds a day, some weeks more. Brass casings piling at your feet like spent breath. You learn the radio codes. You learn that the protectee is never named on the air, only a call sign, and that saying the real name over an open channel is a mistake. You make exactly once. You learn to read a floor plan in 4 seconds, to count exits before you count chairs. You call home once a week for 6 minutes, because that's what the payphone line allows. Your mother sends a package of cookies, oatmeal raisin, wrapped in 3 layers of plastic. It arrives crushed, the box caved in on one side, crumbs loose in the cellophane like sand. You eat them anyway. Sitting alone on your bunk at 9:40 p.m., lights due out in 20 minutes. You stop feeling homesick somewhere around week 7. It happens quietly, without ceremony. One day it's just gone, and you don't notice, until it's already been gone a while. You learn to fold a bed sheet with 45-degree hospital corners, to stand at parade rest for 40 minutes, without shifting your weight, to answer, "Yes, sir," before the question finishes. The instructors don't raise their voices. They don't have to. Silence. You learn here first. Can carry more weight than shouting ever could. Level 3. The shadow. You pass. You are sworn in as a special agent, GS7, $42,700 a year, and assigned to a field office you didn't choose, one you had to look up on a map. Your first cases are counterfeiting and financial fraud, not protection, because that's how it starts, and nobody tells you that going in. You spend 14 months chasing wire fraud, through bank records at 11:42 p.m., under fluorescent lights that hum at a pitch only you seem to notice. Your desk has a photo of your mother, and a coffee ring that never fully wipes off. The songs never mention the smell burnt coffee, toner, The particular staleness of a bullpen at midnight. The vending machine that only takes exact change. Then you rotate onto a protective detail for the first time. A foreign dignitary. 4 days, standing at a rope line in the rain for 12 hours straight. Your boots soaked through by hour 3. You are trained to scan faces, hands, waistbands, not the person people expect you're watching. And your neck aches from the constant sweep. Left to right, left to right. Nothing happens. Nothing is supposed to happen. That is the whole point. And it is the loneliest realization of your life so far. You go back to your motel room and sit on the edge of the bed and don't turn on the television. You just sit. You call your mother because it's Sunday, and that's the rule. Unspoken but absolute since childhood. She asks if you met anyone famous. You say no, even though you stood 11 feet from a head of state for 12 hours. That's not a lie exactly. It's just not a story you're allowed to tell. You learn that the hardest part of the job isn't the danger. It's the discipline and of never once explaining yourself. Not to her, not to anyone, for the rest of your life. Level 4. The post. You learn the real ratio. 90% waiting, 10% anything at all, and most weeks it's closer to 99-1. You stand a post at a hotel service entrance for 8 hours. Here the only sound is walkie-talkie static and your own breathing, and the occasional clatter of a kitchen cart. You memorize exits the way other people memorize a face. You carry a 65-pound go bag on advanced trips and sleep 4 hours a night in city seas. You never see beyond the motorcade route. You've been to 14 countries and can't describe a single skyline from memory. Your girlfriend leaves a voicemail you don't return for 3 days because you were in a blackout zone with no signal. She stops calling after that. You find out later, secondhand, that she's engaged to someone else within the year. In the days following, you notice you've stopped apologizing for missed calls. You've stopped explaining where you were, because the explanation is always the same, and always classified enough to be useless. Silence becomes a language you're fluent in. You learn that the earpiece never really comes out, even when it's not in your ear anymore. You catch yourself reaching for it in the shower. You develop a new vocabulary for exhaustion. Words your old friends don't use. Post-fatigue. Advanced brain. The crash. That hits 2 days after a long detail ends and won't let you get out of bed. You gain 18 pounds from motorcade meals eaten standing up, protein bars and gas station, coffee at 2 a.m. You stop feeling embarrassed about any of it. There's no one left in your life to be embarrassed in front of. Level 5. The specialist. You test into the counter-assault team. Selection is brutal. Ruck marches at altitude, live fire shoot houses, sleep deprivation drills that run 36 hours straight, with instructors watching for the moment. Your hands start shaking. Out of 19 candidates, 6 make it. You are one of 6. You carry a modified rifle now, on a single-point sling, riding in the follow car 2 vehicles back from the principal, watching rooftops instead of faces. You learn choreography for chaos, what to do if the motorcade takes fire, how many seconds it takes to get the protectee into an armored vehicle. 4.2 seconds is the number they drill into you, until your body does it without your brain even asking. You run the drill in your sleep. Literally. Your wife tells you that you move your arms at night, like you're pulling someone through a door. You stop feeling fear around this time, not because you've conquered it, because you've run the drill so many times. Fear has nowhere left to attach itself to. Your mother asks what you actually do now. Over Sunday dinner, the pot roast going cold. You tell her it's classified. It isn't. Not really. You just don't have the words anymore that would make sense to her, or to anyone who hasn't stood where you've stood. In the days following, you notice your hands have gone steadier than they've ever been, even at rest, even holding a coffee cup at your mother's table. Instructors call this a good sign. Nobody mentions what it costs to get hands that still. Level 6, the lead. You make senior special agent. You lead a shift on a protective detail for a cabinet member. Then, 18 months later, a rotation on the presidential detail itself, the one you used to see on television, as a kid without knowing it had a name. You stand 11 feet from the most powerful person in the country, and you are, by design, invisible. No one at the rope line remembers your face. And that is the entire measure of your success. Your greatest professional achievement this year is a state dinner, where nothing happened, and no one remembers you were there at all. You catch your reflection once, late in the dark window of a black Suburban, outside a fundraiser in Chicago, 14 degrees, your breath fogging the glass before you can look away. You don't recognize the man staring back. He looks older than 31. His jaw is set in a way it never used to be. A permanent clench you didn't choose. Your daughter turns 6 that year. You miss the birthday for an advanced trip to a country you can't name in front of her. Not even later, not ever. When you get home 3 days late, she asks who you are before she remembers you're her father. That takes 4 full seconds. You count them, standing in the doorway, still in your travel suit. Your wife doesn't say anything. She just takes your bag from your hand and sets it by the door. A gesture that has become its own kind of conversation between you. One with no words left in it at all. Level 7. The Fixture. You are promoted to assistant to the special agent in charge. You stop working posts and start running them briefings at 5 a.m. with coffee that's been reheated twice, threat assessments stacked in manila folders, lace-in calls with agencies that don't like each other and never will. You stop feeling the cold, the standing, the 12-hour shifts in your knees. Your body has simply filed the complaints and moved on without you, the way it does when there's no one left to hear them. In the days following your promotion, you notice you've started speaking to your own family. The way you speak to junior agents, clipped, procedural, efficient. 3 sentences where 10 used to be. Your brother calls less. Then he stops calling at all. And you find out from your mother, month later, that he got married and didn't tell you until after. You tell yourself it's mutual. It isn't. The myth says this job is danger and glory, motorcades and sunglasses, and a hand near a holster. The reality is spreadsheets, sleep charts, overtime approvals, and a permanent low hum of dread that something, somewhere, on someone else's shift, will slip through a gap you should have caught. You stop feeling pride in the promotions themselves. Each new title just means a new list of things that can go wrong on your watch instead of someone else's. You keep a photo of your daughter, taped inside your desk drawer, where only you see it. You add nothing newer. There hasn't been an occasion that felt worth the film. Level 8, the crown. You are named special agent in charge of a presidential detail. This is the summit, the job every rookie in Glencoe secretly pictures. While running that obstacle course in the heat, you have 42 agents under you, and a budget line with 8 zeros, and a direct line that rings at any hour without apology. You are in the room for decisions with real weight, decisions that end up in briefing books you'll never see published. And then it happens. An agent under your command, a friend, 19 years on the job, dies of a heart attack on a foreign advance trip, alone in a hotel room 6 time zones from his wife, found by a housekeeper at 6:15 a.m. You are the one who calls her. You stand in a hallway at 3 a.m., holding a phone that weighs nothing and everything, rehearsing the sentence 3 times before you say it. You attend the funeral in dress uniform, the flag folded 13 times into a tight triangle. His mother, not yours this time, someone else's mother, grips your hand at the graveside and asks why, and you have no answer that would satisfy her or you. The peak, it turns out, is a cage with a very good view, and the view doesn't make the bars any thinner. You stop feeling the difference between a good day and a bad one. Both end the same way. You drive home at midnight. You check the locks twice, though you know they're locked. You lie down without sleeping for an hour, running the day's threat matrix behind closed eyes out of habit, not necessity. Level 9, the architect. You rise again. Deputy Assistant Director now, out of the field entirely, into a headquarters office with a window you rarely look through, and a nameplate that spells your rank before your name. U-shaped policy instead of standing posts. Memos instead of motorcades. Agents you trained a decade ago now run their own details, and they don't call you by your first name anymore, only sir. A word that used to sound wrong in your mouth and now barely registers. You stop feeling loneliness as an ache. It becomes furniture, always there, no longer noticed. Something you step around without thinking. Your daughter is 19 now, at a college you paid for in full and visited exactly twice. She is, functionally, a stranger who happens to share your eyes and your mother's stubborn chin. At a retirement dinner for a colleague, someone hands you a box of your own commendations, 22 years of them, medals and citations in a felt-lined case you didn't know existed. You spread them on your desk that night, alone, the overhead light buzzing faintly, and you don't recognize the career laid out in metal and ribbon. It looks like it belongs to someone braver, or emptier, than you feel sitting there at 11 p.m., with your tie undone. You call your daughter that night, on impulse, something you haven't done in months. She answers on the fourth ring, polite, distant, the way you'd answer a call from a number you didn't fully recognize. You talk for 6 minutes about nothing important. It is, somehow, the longest conversation you've had with anyone in a year, and you hang up wondering when exactly that became true. Level 10, the ghost. You retire at 55, no parade. A folded flag, a handshake, a badge turned in across a metal desk to a clerk, who's never heard your name. Your pension is $18,400 a year, more money than you've ever had at once, and it buys nothing that matters now. Your knees are gone, worn down by 3 decades of concrete posts and armored vehicles. Surgeons have been in your shoulder twice. Tinnitus rings at a frequency that never fully goes quiet. A souvenir from 1,000 shoot houses and 400 round days at Glencoe. You still scan every restaurant for exits before you sit. You still sit with your back to the wall. Still count the seconds to the nearest vehicle in any parking lot. An old habit with nowhere left to go and no protectee left to protect. In the days following retirement, you discover you don't know how to be unguarded. Your wife has to remind you, gently, more than once, that no one here is watching, that the room is just a room. Then, one morning, your granddaughter, 4 years old, climbs into your lap uninvited and falls asleep there in 9 minutes flat, trusting you completely, asking nothing of you at all, not your rank, not your record, not your silence. You sit very still so you don't wake her. For the first time in 3 decades, you let yourself be exactly where you are and nowhere else. You stop feeling the need to explain the silence, the missed years, the classified spaces where a father should have been. Your daughter, older now, softer now, brings the baby by on Sundays without being asked, and something between you repairs itself in small, wordless increments, a plate passed at dinner, a hand on your shoulder at the door. You still wake at 4:50 a.m. out of habit, the old shift change hour, and lie in the dark, listening to a house with nothing to guard. Some mornings that silence still feels like failure. Most mornings now, it just feels like peace, arriving late, but arriving. Somewhere right now, a 22-year-old is filling out a background form at a kitchen table. A mother standing nearby, already proud, not yet afraid, not yet understanding what the next 30 years will ask of him. He will stand in the rain for reasons he cannot explain to anyone who loves him. He will lose friends he hasn't even met yet. He will become a man his mother won't fully recognize by the time he's 40, a stranger with her same eyes. He will make a vow in a quiet kitchen that no one else hears. The same vow, word for word, though he doesn't know that yet either. He has absolutely no idea what he is walking into. The cycle continues.